So last but not least, may I ask Joost, here you are, Joost. Welcome to Joost Welzen. He's the Chief Integration Officer at ABN AMRO. So he will tell in a minute what this is. A key leader of M&A-based growth, which is another growth capability. We had category establishment, we had culture, and now we have M&A. Can you share a little bit about the strategic philosophy behind this growth strategy?
Yeah, sure, thanks. So first and foremost, I think any growth or M&A growth particularly starts with a focused strategy, right? So if we don't have a strategy in place, any M&A that we would do wouldn't make sense. And I think particularly with large corporates, and ABN AMRO being, let's say, a universal bank from the Netherlands with a very focused strategy in Europe, where we predominantly focus on Northwestern Europe, Germany, France, the Netherlands, with a strong private banking base. And that's exactly where our M&A focus is. So we take quite a lot of time, I'd say more time than actually doing acquisitions. We focus on analyzing the market, knowing exactly who our competitors are, knowing precisely which assets might come up for sale. And ultimately, you need also a little bit of patience. So it's preparation, patience, and dedication to when the targets come up to do those acquisitions.
M&A and integration is a hassle. And it's long hours and work through weekends. Why the entire effort for doing this? Why is this strategy so important for ABN?
I mean, M&A is a lot of work, you're right. M&A is also really fun. We also noticed it right up into the boardroom. Anytime you come up with an M&A acquisition, I think eyes sparkle and people are really interested, which is also the downside of M&A. But ultimately, why do we do M&A and why do we have a very strong M&A focus within our focus strategy? It's that growth, let's say it all starts with growth, right? We drive our business, we have a growth mindset, and we need to grow our business, especially in private banking. And why is that the case? I think regulatory pressures, ever increasing costs on the IT side. So when we look at our clients, there's a higher demand going forward of digitalization, also within traditional segments. And where, for example, we just heard our let's say, Netherlands competitor ING explain very clearly on their digital focus, I think it goes across the whole banking sector. And to be able to, let's say, that minimal viable scale that we need, that's why we do M&A. So yes, you can grow at a certain rate, the market grows at a certain rate, private banking maybe being in Germany 3 to 6%. If you accelerate and outperform the market, you're doing well. But to really make those large steps, we do horizontal M&A, and then buying scale and, or say, capability-led M&A also leads us to do, let's say, acquisitions on different fronts. So we recently acquired Bucks, which is allowing us to be, let's say, more an online broker, which adds a capability, which in a time-to-market perspective would have taken a lot longer to grow that capability. Then M&A also comes in.
To successfully do and execute M&A is a growth capability on its own. And we have seen amazing stories in this market, how long it can take, almost a decade. There's any record is broken on the negative side. So can you share a little bit with us, how did you build this capability? What are the key sports in this decathlon M&A integration business?
Yeah, it's a good point. So buying any company, whether it's a horizontal or a tech-focused acquisition, I think is not the difficulty. Bring in a bunch of advisors, any corporate can do it. And we just heard the same story from France, buying with Conto growing. But doing your first acquisition, in my perception, is a lot different than doing your fifth, your sixth, or your seventh. And that's what we've done. Maybe on paper, let's say, we haven't done the number of acquisitions that you could have imagined, but we definitely have a very focused approach, which means we analyze the targets, and we have, across the entire organization, we have built our capability not only on an acquisition playbook, which we follow, which is not the acquisition itself, but also leads, let's say, the follow-ups. But it's about dedicated approach and making sure that you learn from the mistakes that you've done, that you learn also from your competitor mistakes, and that you bring in the same people that have done it before, even if it's across Europe, to do it again.
So M&A, we are looking to, in the second half of this debate, to European consolidation. We had a fourth one in Switzerland where everybody woke up, whoops, consolidation is taking place. We have the Unicredit Commerzbank discussion. You are in a repetitive, successful integration mode. So how, if you look 5 years ahead, how big is your dream?
Yeah, so dream big, right? I think that's definitely the aspiration that we have. If we look at European consolidation, there's been a lot of talk about European consolidation in the banking market. So far, I think on a cross-border level, we haven't seen that happen. Our belief is that it's much more an in-country consolidation which will take place. Germany being a really attractive and large market, and that's also the view that we take. It's the largest private banking market in Europe. Now, we have a traditional private bank. We operate Bethmann Bank in Germany, and we've recently acquired Hauck Aufhäuser Lampe. Subject to regulatory approval, we hope to be closing soon. If I look ahead 5 years, now, first of all, it's going to take a while to integrate such a large acquisition. We're becoming actually the very clear number 3 in the market, with over 75 billion of assets, with the incumbents, Commerzbank, Deutsche being the number 1 and 2. So as a traditional private bank with our own label, we're clearly the number 3. The question is, yeah, where do you stand in 5 years? I think markets change, client requirements change, so that's our key focus. The number of, for example, women as first single client is now 37%. We estimate in the market that's going to grow to above 50%. So there's a large shift in, let's say, the type of client, and there's also a very big new generation coming up. A new generation private banking is not actually your 20-year-old client that we look at when we talk about next gen, but our next gen are 50 plus. So it's a different kind of next gen segment, but it's really important for us to capture that wealth.
And it's an amazing story. While everybody's waiting for the banking union, you bought one company, you're buying another one, a third one, and all of a sudden you're number 3 in wealth management in Germany by M&A Growth. I think that's a brilliant story. Thank you for the power talk here. And so thank you, a big thank you to Joost.